All right, we're back in action. Why are you in a theater?
Because we're in a movie podcast.
You're a jack. Hello and welcome everyone to the long and awaited 2025 episode of Cinema Photography. I'm your friendly neighborhood hoothologist, and joining me as always is
Producer man Isaac, what's going on, everybody? Can you hear me all right?
yeah, I have my AirPods on.
Okay.
So guys, we're back. We've been lost. I've just been found. I got a new Power Rangers uniform here, so this is very comfortable.
Yeah.
Bought this to work out, have not worked out once.
Why would you want to ruin it like that, though?
Dude, this thing is so fucking comfortable. The best $183 I spent.
Where'd you get that at anyway?
It's called Super X. They have they have Wolverine, Deadpool. I wanted the Deadpool one, but the Green Ranger just fit me a little bit better, Tommy the Green Ranger. Hashtag let's go. Isaac,
Yes, sir.
we have to address something, man.
Okay.
I'm quitting the podcast.
Are you now?
No, I'm not. No, absolutely not. We've been very busy with school and with work. I just started a job back in the Bay Area. I came home. Have not seen Isaac once. This is the first time I actually seen Isaac's face since I've been back. I've been back since October.
That is true. Yeah, you forgot to go pick up your Christmas present, by the way, which I don't even know if you even got me one.
I definitely didn't. I was too distracted with work. So
Mm,
my present is being your friend another year. You got another
no.
year subscription?
Yeah, I'm keeping your gift. Get fuck off.
I honestly forgot. And then you know what? I also forgot German. One of these days we're gonna get German on the
You
podcast.
always forget German, so this is just the thing.
Yeah, I feel bad a little bit every time I tell German we're gonna do something because I never follow through and I'm terrible at making plans.
Yeah, I feel you. It is what it is.
It's just, with me having an hour commute, I just get so tired when I get off of work. I don't want to do shit besides pack a bowl, watch some TV, go to bed. And I do the whole thing over again. But once I get a job closer to work, I'm going to be a little bit more available to be doing the podcast and watching the things we keep saying we're going to watch. Did not watch Gladiator 2. To be fair, I didn't even really watch Gladiator 1. And I know Isaac's going to say something because I'm uncultured.
No, it's fine. I don't really remember fucking Gladiator 1 all that well. I mean, you
To
get a
be
recap. You get a recap of the movie in the first like 5 minutes of Gladiator 2, so
No shit, no way.
yeah.
Okay, could we just address the fact that we did not need a Gladiator 2 fucking 30 years later, practically, right? When did Gladiator 1 come out?
2002, 2002.
2000. Okay, so it's been 25 years. Do we really need a sequel?
No, not really. I mean,
Oh.
given the fact that Ridley Scott is like fucking almost in his fucking 90s.
Right. That just kind of goes with the whole thing with I don't see any original movies nowadays. You know what I mean? Like everyone's so obsessed with nostalgia bait, basically, trying to reboot all these franchises. Like, guys, can we come up with something a little bit different? We've gotten to the
Yeah,
point where we have to adapt musicals with Wicked, which I still want to see.
yeah. I haven't seen it. I don't want to.
You don't want to?
I don't want to.
Well, to be fair, I'm a big fan of musicals. I think they're great.
Yeah, no, I don't really like musicals all that much.
See, that's the great thing about me and Isaac. We always like our friendship always bases off two different things. I like something, he thinks I'm an idiot. He likes something, I just kind of go along with it.
Yeah, that's true.
He forced me to watch for the pod, and he used the podcast as a catalyst to make me watch the Chris Pine movies of Star Trek. Yeah, I still can't say
You
it
know
right.
what's hilarious about that is that you
I
actually like.
like the Chris Pine movies. Yeah, that's fucking blasphemy. I don't want to get rid of them because I spent hard-earned money, and he knows how much of a fucking Scrooge I am. Like I will refuse.
Yeah. And that's what makes it 10 times funnier is the fact that you actually like them. I mean, it doesn't make you a Star Trek fan, but you actually enjoyed the movies for what they were.
Yeah, and that's just that. So okay, I'm not against reboots. All right, I'm not against. I'm Here's what I'm against in movies: bringing back, making sequels to a franchise we don't really need. If they made a whole new Gladiator movie, and it was completely kind of based off the original, I think I would have been more inclined to it. Right? I
Mhm.
think that's my thing. I don't like unnecessary sequels, but I do like reimaginings of the source material.
Yeah, no, Gladiator 2 was beautiful to look at. The action was awesome, but the script was terrible.
The one question I have, and this is I've noticed this as a trend in every Denzel Washington movie, he says "my man." Did he say "my man" in the movie?
No.
I'm offended. I don't want to watch it. Fuck it. If he doesn't say "my man," no point. Denzel, you let me down.
Okay, so like, let me tell you this. Like, there's this one scene in this movie. Denzel Washington was probably the best part of this entire movie.
Dude, Denzel Washington is a fucking national treasure. He's a fucking great
You
actor.
know, he just won the Presidential Medal of Honor or Freedom?
Did no
Medal.
fucking way. No
Yeah,
way he did. Fucking
yeah.
why? Because he stood up to Diddy and the parties.
I don't fucking know. But apparently, you get those for being a good civilian.
Did Jimmy Fox get one after saving that dude out of a car?
I have no idea. Oh,
He should have.
speaking of that, I think Jamie Foxx is a clone.
What?
Okay, so you know how he almost died?
Yeah,
Well, you know how like he was practically dead. So if you watch his new stand-up special,
I've not. I forget that he was a comedian once.
yeah, yeah, and he's still a funny dude. So do you remember the infamous Jamie Foxx tattoo?
Yes,
The one on the back of his head?
yes.
You know he doesn't have it anymore?
What?
It's gone.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's a clone.
Yeah, but you could still see like there's no you know, usually when you remove a tattoo, you could still see fragments of it.
No, I've never removed a tattoo.
Well, from what I've seen, like when it comes to removing tattoos, I don't know how the technology is now, or maybe they fucking took it off when he got whatever happened to him when he had a stroke, maybe. But fucking, it's completely. It was like as if it was never there. Like
Interesting.
and it's like, also like the fact that remember he made that movie they cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, they
So like, there's
cloned
a
Jamie Foxx.
with Jamie Foxx in it, and like I genuinely think like I don't even think it's the same Jamie Foxx anymore because like it's just super funny. Like
That is kind of that. I'm not gonna lie, that is a little funny. I don't think he's cloned. I think you're crazy, but that if that was the case, that is fucking hilarious.
But yeah, no, just a random little tidbit though. I just it's really weird because especially removing a head tattoo,
Yeah,
that's gotta be like unless they removed it when he was in a coma.
maybe that is possible. Completely
Yeah, 'cause it's hard to
logical.
miss. That shit was like a Mike Tyson tattoo. Fucking
Fucking honest, like Mike Tyson tattoos right here.
yeah,
Yo,
but
okay,
like
so remember in The Hangover where the guy got the fucking tattoo and then had to get it removed?
yeah.
That's so funny. Well, I was just talking about The Hangover at work actually. We're debating on which characters we would be. Everyone kept saying I was Zach Galifianakis's character.
Really?
But I guess that's the vibe I give off. Like I'm the wild card.
No,
You don't think so?
no,
Like
I
a
don't think
little.
that. No, I think you're more of a um. No, let's see. What are you more of? I don't know. It's a good question, but I don't think you're. No, because he's basically they're calling you basically stupid.
I am kind of stupid. Let's face it. Well, I'm not bright. I'm bright-ish. I have my moments.
Yeah, but that guy's incapable of taking care of himself.
I am capable of taking care of myself.
Exactly.
So maybe. Anyways, Isaac, what are we talking about in this podcast? Like, what are we doing here?
Our plans for 2025 and what we want to do. Have you seen any movies at all in 20 like
Fuck
towards the end?
bitches, get money. That's my plan for 2025. I mean, that's usually my plan every year, but you know what?
No,
I haven't seen any movies. I just finished watching season 2 of Squid Game, which I think is amazing, mind you.
really? I heard it's not as good as the first one.
Okay, but here's the thing. You can't like Squid Game, the first season was just catching lightning in a bottle, right? It just fucking took off. It's gonna be very hard to follow up what was such a great, first season.
Yeah, but they just rehashed what they did in the first season.
That's what they do, rehashing every fucking second season.
Yeah, like how you gonna tell me he's gonna fall for the same trick twice?
What's crazy is just how complicated that fucking the VIPs and the whole organization is. They're not. I highly doubt they're that fucking smart.
I just think it's crazy that he fell for the same trick twice, falling for number one, being the fucking spy.
Yeah, right. Like he doesn't fall for like you got to have some level of suspicion, right? You have to.
Yeah, the fact that he did it, it just made him look stupid. Like I got the full recap from Brooke.
Honestly, I've been watching like because I have an hour commute, and you know me, like I like to be the biggest nerd when it comes to like movie facts and stuff like that. So I get a whole bunch of background on literally everything. I have nothing but Squid Game like feed on my phone now. I actually just listened to a very interesting tale if Light and L from Death Note were in Squid Game. Actually,
Let's
very
see.
entertaining. It was very entertaining, and Light loses, of course, because he can't win.
But yeah, I think I've seen quite a bit of movies over the last few months. Fuck, I think I saw Sonic 3, saw Nosferatu, I saw Gladiator 2.
How was Nosferatu? I hear it's great.
It's pretty good. It's a creepy, weird movie.
Movies I've actually seen in the past like 4 months. I did see. Why wasn't I? Oh, I went to Disneyland and I went and I started. I didn't finish it because it was already like fucking 2 o'clock in the morning when I went to my friend's house. I watched Late Night with the Devil.
Okay.
So I started it. Like I got probably
Good
halfway
movie.
through.
Very good movie. You
It's
saw
a
that
very
too?
good movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was telling you I wanted to see it because it looked very interesting when I saw the trailer after I saw the poster. Like that was really like very interesting to me. Right? I didn't get to see The Heretic, although I really wanted to. The Heretic looked really good.
I saw
I
that too.
started. How was it?
I liked it. Brooke did it. It's because it's like if you're like not really religious, you don't. It was our if you're not really religious, it really kind of makes you like you kind of have to agree with a lot of things that are focused on in that movie because it's a very religious based movie. It really
Okay,
makes you think about a lot of different things, and especially when it comes to the concept of God
right.
and
Seen
like
Maxine.
in different religious beliefs. It basically
Right.
it's a lot about religious beliefs and a lot of different things. And like but overall it's like the reason why she didn't like it, it was because it's already things that she already liked that she already disliked about religion. So it wasn't anything she had never thought of or never really
Mhm.
whatever. So to me, I liked it because I just liked the overall like, you know, I feel like the movie was a little longer than it needed to be. There were certain acts that probably didn't need to be in. It could have been just cut in half a little bit. But
Sure.
overall though, it's interesting to see somebody like who the fuck plays the main character, the bad guy? Fuck, I forgot. Hugh Grant. It's interesting to see Hugh Grant in this kind of role, given the fact that I literally just watched him as a Oompa Loompa like 2 months prior.
I watched Wonka. There's another one. I didn't expect it to be a musical. I know you told me it was, but as I watched it, I just thought it was whimsical enough. It was cool. I don't see how Wonka in the movie became Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't see it.
Well, no, this version of Wonka is the prequel to the original.
I know, and it's supposed to be an origin story, but I thought it was going to be more along the lines like how he got so fucking cynical towards the end of his career. You know what I mean?
No, it's more for the Gene Wilder version of the.
I understand that, but Gene Wilder also was very whimsical. But at the end, he was like, "I'm done. I'm over it. This is what it is." I mean, that's my take to it because I rewatched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I watched the ending scene. He's like, "You're done. You no good day, sir."
Yeah.
Trap. I watched Trap.
Watch that too.
I watched it. I what? Okay, so I started to enjoy it, but I started to lose interest. I think I thought he was just wait like I get it. He's supposed to be super smart and outwitting the cost, but there is no way that string of coincidences happens so often. And then the singer has wants to try to trap him at the end. Like, oh come on, I didn't enjoy it that much.
It was solid. Then again, M. Night Shyamalan's movies are all intertwined. They're all connected. So it
Right?
makes me laugh. I was like, so you're telling me that Avatar exists in this world?
Yeah.
Because you know how he made Avatar?
Hmm.
So you're telling me like all these different movies are all in the same universe?
Right. Like it's I don't know. It's M Night Shyamalan. I forgot he made the fucking terrible last Airbender movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I started that series actually. I got through episode one, and then I immediately went to something else.
I've never really watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So okay, I hot take. I like The Legend of Korra more than I like the original Last Airbender. I thought it was a way more mature series. I think there was a lot more happening and going on, and I think she was a way better Avatar towards the end.
Makes sense.
And it's just like one of those things. Like, how was it? I get Aang's story, like he was supposed to stop the Fire Lord, but there was just a lot more going on with political stuff, like in Republic City and everything for the second series, that it just made it more, I guess, relatable to me. I could see like different problems going on. Like, yes, I guess there's a war and people are trying to stop a war in the first series, right? The second series focused on the first season in particular, benders versus non-benders, and how the class bias is like really like rigged to get against the people who aren't benders.
Yeah.
I get it. Made sense. But I was
It
like,
was
what
never really for
are
me. And again, I never really watched a lot of Nickelodeon movies, TV shows like that.
yeah, and I grew up watching a lot of cartoons. So like I think I mean like I bonded a lot with them. Like because I enjoyed the original show when I was a kid. Rewatching it as an adult, like I think I'm now more towards this one, and I think that's just a change perspective as you get older.
Yeah, like I know I never really gave it a shot. Maybe because I just didn't watch it as a kid either.
Right. So Isaac, what is our aspirations for 2025? We'd even talk about this.
At least do a minimum of 4 or 5 podcasts a month.
That is a very good goal. I want to keep back at it because like I said, all I do is work. Having my little escape and having a little freedom to do something is a lot of fun to me. So I think I do want to start trying to get guests on here, although I keep lacking to do that.
Yeah, you're the only one that has friends.
Yeah, yeah, that's saying something. And then again, like it's like who do we get on? I have to find out who wants to be on it, who would want it, what we get to watch. Like Matt,
You know what?
oh,
I'd like to have
really?
a guest on the show who I feel like
Who?
now his perception of how he talks about certain stuff now is a lot different than it was before because now he's more cultured.
Who?
German.
Oh, dude, that would be really good. Like we need to have German on this one of these days because German is like one of I was me and German got to be friends and we were just so fucking. I was in my late 20s, so we're just going out partying.
Yeah, but now
So
since all he does is watch TV and he barely goes out, it's a lot more cultured in terms of like cinema and TV
yeah, no,
shows.
no, so that would be really interesting because I can just be like, I hate going to the movies with him. The one time we went to go watch, what did we go watch? We went to watch Solo, a Star Wars story. You just see him every 2 seconds, like he nudges me. He's like, "Hey, that's from the original Star Trek." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." He's like, "Is that where they get the Battlestar Galactica gate?" Like, I'm like, "German, stop." It was even funnier because the guy in front of us was laughing along with German's stupid fucking comments.
That'd
He's like, "Yeah, that's how they got the gate." I'm like, "Shut up! Don't encourage him."
be so funny. Yeah, because we even talk about like anime and stuff like that too.
Yeah, he's a little bit more cultured now with
Yeah,
anime.
especially
Okay,
anime. Anime is interesting to me to know that he's more cultured in anime now than he was before.
right? Like it just he never would have watched. He's like, I don't watch that fucking Japanese cartoons. Now he like fucking
What he used to
when
call
we
it? I don't
talk,
watch that Japanese porn.
yeah, he used to call it Japanese porn. And now he's like, oh dude, I watched this one, I watched that one. I'm like, you fucking weeb. German's
I know
like a
he's
low
more
key
of a
weeb.
weeb than you were.
I know, and I was a pretty big weeb at one point.
That's actually really funny. No, that'd be interesting.
Oh, you know what anime I just watched? I just watched the first season, the sequel to the Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh, Fortnite to the Apocalypse. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. It's pretty fucking cool. Like it's not it's and good enough to the original series, but it's like a great sequel because it answers a lot of like stuff what happened to Arthur in fucking Camelot.
Yeah, and like plus like Lancelot's like fucking awesome.
Lancelot's probably my favorite character. I want to say because
Yeah,
he's such a badass.
Lancelot is so fucking badass.
We're not going to talk about fucking Jericho's weird obsession with him.
But Jared, yeah, that whole thing's weird as shit.
That is, I don't know what that dude was
You gotta
thinking.
have
Like,
one weird thing happening in that fucking show though.
Yeah, that would I think that one creep when I started watching when that part came on, I was like, I'm a little creeped out. I don't know if I should like this, you know.
But
So
yeah, it's pretty
what
cool.
big major movies are we excited about for 2025?
I don't even know what's coming out in 2025.
I know there
Oh,
should be
Captain America. Uh,
that I'm excited to see. I really want to see what they do with that. I'm a big Captain America fan. Okay, so my favorite comic book character is Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. In the terms of live action movies, Captain America probably is my favorite. Not because like he's the true American hero or whatever bullshit they spill up on us. It's just the stories they tell with him are very like very good. Very
yeah,
they're not too comic booky. You know what I mean? Like you know how comic book movies are really heavy into comic book lore. That one is not like that franchise alone is not very much. It's more political thriller and action than it is anything else. I think that's what drove me to the Winter Soldier being my favorite MCU movie.
yeah, yeah. Which is, I think it's interesting to. I think it's gonna be a good premise because it's cool. It's gonna be cool to see, like, given the fact that we're finally get to have Sam have his own movie, and
Right?
it's gonna be like some like spy fucking, kind of like it's gonna give you like the same vibes of like, Captain America, um, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay, so speaking of that, we covered Falcon and the Winter Soldier heavily, weekly. We learn from our mistakes. Wait till the series comes out. Then we talk about it. But with that being said, like that whole aspect alone was very good. Like it was I think it was well
The
paced.
political aspects of it all,
No,
talking
very,
about
very
certain things, especially given the fact that we have a Black Captain America post Falcon and the Winter Soldier now, and he
yeah.
has a few licks in now.
Yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how timeline wise where it fits after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially with the whole thing with the Thunderbolts happening that's coming out soon
That
too.
that's something I'm interested to seeing because how the Thunderbolts are a very interesting kind of group, right? Because they're originally the Masters of Evil, right? Ran by Baron Zemo. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they make this new form of the Dark Avengers, basically. So I think they're taking the concept of the Dark Avengers and just calling them the Thunderbolts, right? Because the MCU is very,
Yeah,
very
but how do
clear on
you
saying
have
they're
the
telling their own
Thunderbolts without
story.
Thunderbolt Ross?
That is something I'm like, and they again they call themselves the Thunderbolts because Alexi just decides to fucking shout it out because he's an
Yeah,
idiot.
to me. I don't really like that because it's not. They're not. That's not the reason why they're called the Thunderbolts.
No, I know, I get that. Like I don't know that. So I think, and that's the thing with the MCU, they take liberties with their projects that they take on.
Yeah, and I'm also excited with the fact that we're getting Daredevil born again, which is cool.
Daredevil Born Again is going to be good. It's going to be slightly season. What was it? Four, five,
It's
basically.
basically it's a continuation
Basically, yeah.
of the Netflix series, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
it is.
technically got Daredevil born again in season 3 of Daredevil
We got that whole
after the
storyline
events of the Defenders. So
right.
like, but I guess I guess in a way it's kind of like a retcon of season 3.
So I think it's like season three happened in its own separate timeline. So like it's gonna be basically the defenders happened in the main sacred timeline, right? So that happened. So it's gonna be kind of like I guess like a slight variation of what happened after,
It's
right?
like they're retconning it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're retconning a little bit. I'm gonna be very excited to see the yellow suit, like we see it in what was it? Was it She-Hulk that we saw the yellow suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see it. Like, and then
I'm
she
excited to see. I'm excited to see the original cast come back.
that was the biggest thing for me because the cast really made it. William D'Onofrio as the Kingpin was probably the best fucking choice. And my mom recently restarted the original Law and Order with Vincent D'Onofrio, so I'm seeing like both sides, like him as a criminal and his as a fucking a detective. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like
So
it's pretty sweet because like everyone's coming back from the guy that played Foggy to the girl that played Karen. John Berthel's coming back as the Punisher. So like
yeah, so it's gonna be fun. Like the things we are not gonna see, which is kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping to see Mahershala Ali as Blade.
yeah, because they keep pushing that shit back.
That's it's canceled now. It's like officially done. They're not doing it.
Now, I hear that's still in the works.
Really?
Yeah.
I would like to see it. I really want to see an adaptation of Ghost Rider done right.
Yeah, the what's it called? Yeah, there's been room, especially with everything going on now with the Doomsday. You know, it's gonna be cameo heavy in terms of like bringing back all the old like old school like.
Yeah. And then so how and then we're getting Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So we're finally getting the first family in the MCU. I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out. Because like, as a kid, I watched some of the Fantastic Four stuff. They weren't like my favorite superhero group, I think. And
I
then
wonder
very
if
like,
they're going to do it like because to me it doesn't make sense how they're going to incorporate them into the MCU given that it takes place in the 70s
yeah, I don't
in
know.
a
Like
different
that's going to be
timeline or whatever. So are they
yeah.
going to do it like in the Spider-Man animated series where Spider-Man selects a certain amount of people to be on his team for the Secret Wars?
So
And
Secret
that's
Wars is another one because they pretty much made Battle World as the Void.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they gonna do like the Battle World scenario where they have someone select people from the past, the present, you
I
know?
don't think so. I generally don't think so. I think what's going to end up happening, and this is my kind of like headcanon, is that once because we already got the idea of fuck, what is it they called it in Multiverse of Madness?
Forgot.
You know what I'm talking about though.
I think so.
There's not a convergence. It's fucking I forgot. But with that, the whole thing.
Oh,
So
when
there's
everything
gonna
starts to fall apart.
yeah. You remember
Oh,
what
like
that
what
was
happened
called?
to Deadpool and Wolverine. Like,
Yeah. So how the like that's gonna start happening. It's gonna start happening with every world now, right? And then they're all gonna come find
I wonder if
Battle
they're gonna
World.
put. I wonder if they're gonna pull a DC. I mean DC, a CW, where they had the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they made every TV show in the same universe after that.
I think that's what they're gonna do, to be quite honest. And you know what? So Crisis, I watched the Crisis movies, the DC Crisis movies. I like how they brought back Constantine from the like that animated too. For what me, you, and who else was in it? Because I remember we covered that movie.
Oh,
Was it Ray?
Ray. It was Ray.
Yeah. Because I remember us doing fucking Justice League Dark Apocalypse.
Justice League War,
Dark.
or not War,
Yeah.
Dark,
Justice League Dark.
Dark
Yeah. Apocalypse War.
Eclipse War. Yeah.
I remember that was actually one of my favorite DC movies. Like that was actually a really good one. So I like how and you's crazy. I think you pointed this out to me is that that guy who plays Constantine, he plays him so well. Every iteration they did, they get the same actor. The live action to the Arrowverse to the animated
Well,
stuff.
speaking of DC, have you watched Creature Commandos yet?
I've started Creature Commandos. I think it's pretty good. I think that's kind of like James Gunn's like go-to thing, right? Like he just gets a
It's like James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, no, he like I think he does a really good job at getting like D-list heroes and villains and putting them together.
Hmm.
I think he does that really well because the Guardians of the Galaxy were like D-list tier heroes. Nobody really knew about them until the MCU. And I stand by this because Iron Man had a very big blow up in 2008 because of the MCU. Because
Hmm.
everyone, when you think of Marvel, early Marvel, you think of Spider-Man, you think of Fantastic Four, you mostly think of the Hulk because of all the animated stuff, right? The X-Men. No one thought about Iron Man. They made a show, but no one really cared about Iron Man
But here's
until
the thing
Robert
about
Downey
Iron Man
Jr.
too. The thing about Iron Man also is the fact that his depiction of how he's portrayed in the comic books, he's not a very likable character for the most part. Robert Downey Jr. made Iron Man likable again.
That's what I'm getting at. Like he's kind of a scumbag. And I had this argument
He's a
with
piece of
an
shit in like
old
almost all the comics.
yeah, and
Like
then I had a conversation with my friend, an old friend, and she's like, "Oh, Marvel are kid friendly comic books." I'm like, "No, you're not. Read Demon in a Bottle.
have you read
That
the
is a
Ultimates?
yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no light. Like Marvel has the capability of being dark stories. Look at
I just
Daredevil
think
and
it's wild
Punisher.
though because the Ultimates is basically the blueprint of the fucking MCU.
Yeah, they even did Samuel L. Jackson as they drew him as like I want to be him in the movies, and they were like, we had that idea anyways.
Yeah, like literally, which is crazy because if they had followed the exact blueprint of the Ultimates,
Right.
you really think that we have this cinematic universe,
Mhm.
given the fact that if you actually read the Ultimates, how fucking gross and like fucking like crazy, like given the fact that like Captain America is a racist, fucking Tony Stark's a fucking drunk, and
Yeah,
there's fucking incest.
Yeah, with the Scarlet Witch. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm saying. Like it's like Marvel is not a kid friendly brand. It's really not.
it's more kid
And
friendly movie wise. It's not really kid friendly comic book
comic
wise.
wise, no, 100%. I'll agree with you on that. So DC does a really good job of making, and this is kind of like my thing with DC and Marvel. And this is my opinion that Marvel makes more relatable characters on the day to day aspect, getting superpowers. Well, DC makes literal gods, right? Because look at Super. Let's take early Golden Age
Superman.
Superman.
Did you
He
see the
is
trailer?
fucking yes. I'm excited for that. And you know what? And I'm really excited to get a Batman too. I literally had a full blown argue, not an argument. I had a full blown like real deep conversation with my buddy at work, and he was telling me that he hated the Batman because, and this is, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, is that he's year two Batman, right? So he is not the world's greatest detective yet. He is making mistakes, right? And every other iteration of Batman we've seen, he is pretty fucking well versed immediately in his first movie, right? And the first one that I always like to go to is let's take the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy, right? In his first movie, he's already such a badass and handles everything so well that he barely makes any mistakes, right? Yeah, he's a pompous asshole, right, as Bruce Wayne, but he immediately fixes the problem. Well, Matt Reeves' Batman and Robert Pattinson really fails as a bat as the Batman, and then realizes he's making more problems than he is doing any good. The Penguin, that's what I finished. Great series.
Yeah, because essentially the Batman is the catalyst for the rogues gallery of Batman's villains coming to life.
Mm-hmm.
Starting it off with the Penguin, now the whole thing with the Joker being in the cell, the Riddler still being in there too, and so forth. It's much more of a much more grounded based story in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like it's a detective noir type of style movie,
Right.
you know, taking homage to different movies of the past like Seven, Zodiac Killer, things like
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, which is essentially like and then taking things from adaptations of the if different stuff that's happened in the, you know, in the DC like comic book, you know, from like the Long Halloween to fucking all this other stuff.
Right.
Um, but like plus you know like it's interesting to see what they're gonna do for the Batman. Like to me, I personally everyone thinks that, you know, the reason why Batman 2 got delayed to 2027 was because now they're thinking about incorporating Robert Pattinson as the main DC Batman now
I think that's a stupid idea.
because of the fact that and if you think about it though, you know, but because of that because at the same time it's like how do you choose a new Batman and then have an Elseworld story like the Batman happening also at the same time.
Right.
You know, like it's cool to have the Elseworld stories make sense on paper, but like it's too convoluted, and that's the problem. What we had, that's the reason why the whole Zack Snyder shit fell apart the way it did
Mm-hmm.
because there was so much and like you know not much continuity in terms of like what fits with where because of all the
Right.
solo movies of everything going on, and you know, and that's also the reason why the Sonyverse failed as well.
The Sonyverse failed because they tried to make Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man.
And did you hear about the fact that Sony actually could have used Tom Holland Spider-Man for the Sony movies that they made, but chose not
Yep.
to?
Yep.
Which is fucking wild to me.
I don't, you can't have them. You can't have any of these Spider-Man centric characters without Spider-Man. Like you can't. The only one that really kind of worked was Venom. Venom's story was
It
actually
made
pretty
it
well
work
considered.
later. It didn't work in the beginning.
So I think it like again, you're right on that. But I think like what they did with Venom is what they should have tried to do with every other story, and not try to make everyone an anti-hero. Because let's face it, Craven the Hunter is not really a villain per se. He just is obsessed with hunting Spider-Man.
It just makes me sad that they made a chameleon comic book accurate fucking chameleon and we'll never see him again.
Yep, that's a very. Did you see Craven?
No, but I saw the review about it and I saw the end post credit scene.
Uh, I've seen a lot of the stuff. Like again, as I'm driving, I get a lot of breakdowns and stuff like that. So I'm curious. So I don't necessarily need to watch Craven to know what
I'll
happened.
wait till it gets on the streaming service.
Yeah, I mean that's just like
I
what it
couldn't
is.
even
Like
finish Madam Web.
I didn't even want. I started it. I
I got
got through
halfway
30
anyway and I refused
minutes.
to watch the rest of it. I just couldn't.
The bad dubbing, everything was just
The
wrong with it.
ADR is atrocious. The
Oh
fucking
yeah, that's like the that's neither here nor there. Like you know what? Put me in. Give me. Get me in there. Let me make the Spider-Man movies right, guys. I got this. I'm prepared.
You know,
I'm
and
ready
because
for
right now
it.
we're at the like a lot of stuff's going to be happening in terms of like movie wise, especially in the next like 2 years with
Hmm.
everything happening, you know, and then like it's going to be an interesting time for movies. I don't think it's going to be TV show wise and all this other stuff. I think it's not going to be so shoved down our throat as much as it
It
has.
hasn't.
Yeah.
Right. So, now that we're talking about these things that we're going to cover, what movies? Okay, guys, to the three viewers who are actually listening and watch our podcast, what movies would you want to see us do? Right? What would you like to see us cover? Should we go back to our old style, go and see even some of the older movies? Like when we're excited to go see a movie, do we watch some of the original source material to catch up? What do you guys think?
Hmm. Oh, you know what? Actually, I watched the other day on Max.
Hmm.
Have you seen the Watchmen animated movie?
No, was it?
It's actually pretty solid, given the fact that it's obviously Zack Snyder's version is its own thing, which
Mhm.
I actually like the director's cut version more than I do the.
I've watched Watchmen a few times. Like it's a good movie. I don't think it's like bad in any case.
It's
It's
just different.
pretty.
It flavors from the source material.
Yeah, I think it's pretty like pretty truthful to it, other than making Doctor Manhattan the villain or
But
the catalyst so everyone bands together.
overall though, like it's more comic book accurate. If
I
I'm
think it's
gonna,
very comic book accurate.
no, I'm talking about for the Watchmen animated movie.
Mm,
It's a little more comic book accurate. I mean, given the fact that, post, Tomorrowverse,
mhm.
the Crisis and stuff like that, if these Watchmen movies do good, you have the potential to do the Doomsday Clock.
That is actually going to be a very good adaptation. I would love to see that adaptation. I've watched the Doomsday Clock, and I mean watch is like I listened to the comic story, and may he rest in peace. Um, on that story in particular, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, there's
I
potential. I think if these Watchmen movies do good in terms of like people watching these viewing and the way they did it, I think it has potential to do the Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
It's never
no, I think
never been
that would
done
be a
before.
really. It's never been done before. It's a very good story, and here's the problem with it: if they do it and they don't do it right, we're gonna get a whole Killing Joke aspect again, where we
No,
get a
we're
whole
gonna get an
15 minutes of
injustice. We're gonna get an injustice issue.
ooh, justice.
Injustice was worse than the Killing Joke.
Yeah, no, no, no. You're 100% right. Injustice. I watched it. I was because I was a real big fan of the games. Like I
I've never
loved
been
it.
so fucking disappointed in my life.
I remember watching it. I'm like, bro, that kind of fucking sucks. Like that
You had
you
me in the
you
first 20 minutes and then you lost me towards the end of everything else. I
yeah. That's a. Oh, have you ever like taken the time to read or listen to the comics that lead up to
yeah.
them? They're
It's
fucking great.
it's fucking great, yeah.
It's fucking
Like
amazing, and they ruin it so much. Like it's just
I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like
because they
like
brought
even
in Ra's
I
al
didn't like
Ghul
the
way too
animation
early.
either. I didn't like
The
the
anime,
animation.
I didn't like the fucking black like
It
knuckles. Like
looked
that.
too
What?
comic booky, but like a little too comic booky.
It looked too comic booky in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a good adaptation.
Oh
That's
no, I was incredibly disappointed with that shit.
oh yeah, no. They again, that's just something I'm like really excited about. And then it got ruined. You're right. Like you're
Yeah,
that's a
no,
better
Killing Joke
example.
is good if you don't watch the first 10 minutes.
No, because that's a panel per panel like recreation of it.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. If you don't watch the first 10 to 15 minutes of The Killing Joke and you
It's
just
great.
start it, it's
Yeah, you
great.
start. Yeah, it's like you're right. You're 100% right, Isaac. But we got a minute left. Is there anything else we want to say before this podcast ends?
Look forward to much more podcasts. I'm hoping that we could at least do 5 a month, if not
That is a
three.
good. That
If
is a
not,
very good goal. I second that.
we're towards the beginning of the year. We'll do one a little bit towards the middle and a little more towards the end.
Yeah,
And
and then if we
bring
can
it out just
sprinkle
to
a
see if
couple
we can do
more,
it. Yeah,
yeah, but we'll figure it out. We're smart guys. I mean, at least you are.
I try.
Yeah. But other than that, guys, I got nothing much else to say other than stay tuned. 2025 is going to be a fun year.
Yes, it's gonna be a good time, and hopefully by then we'll be smoking again because I haven't been smoking. I need to get a new one.
What do you mean you need to get a new one? Oh, a new
No,
fucking
no,
vape?
my
Your vape?
vapes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I ran out.
Oh, you know what? 2025's goal: teach Isaac how to fucking pack a bowl.
But it's just I took that shit to storage.
You're a jack.